We have breaking news tonight from the pharmaceutical company Johnson & Johnson about a clinical trial of a coronavirus vaccine. They announced that they are pausing clinical trials for a COVID vaccine over a patient illness. Johnson & Johnson has released a statement saying, "We have temporarily paused further dosing in all our COVID-19 vaccine candidate clinical trials, including the phase 3 ensemble trial, due to an unexplained illness in a study participant. The participant's illness is being reviewed and evaluated by the Ensemble Independent Data Safety Monitoring Board, as well as our internal clinical and safety physicians." Dr. Anthony Fauci is objecting to the Trump campaign using video of him in a Trump campaign ad. This weekend, Dr. Fauci issued a written statement saying, "In my nearly 5 decades of public service, I have never publicly endorsed, nor do I now endorse, any political candidates. The comments attributed to me without my permission in the GOP campaign ad were taken out of context." The Trump campaign edited the video in such a way that it appeared that Dr. Fauci was talking about Donald Trump when he said, quote, "I can't imagine that anybody could be doing more." Dr. Fauci says that that was a statement he made months ago about the efforts of federal public health officials, not Donald Trump, who on the same day Dr. Fauci first objected to the campaign ad, said this about the coronavirus.
"It's going to disappear. It is disappearing."
That's Donald Trump on Saturday, and it is not disappearing anywhere in the United States. 32 states and Washington, D.C. have reported an increase in coronavirus cases over the last 2 weeks. That includes Pennsylvania, where Donald Trump is planning to hold a rally tomorrow. Earlier tonight, Donald Trump held what looked like a super spreader event in Florida, where no one in the crowd was social distancing and most people were not wearing masks, including the governor of Florida. This graphic shows that the states with the most coronavirus cases per capita since June are states that have voted Republican in at least the last 2 presidential elections. Today, Dr. Anthony Fauci said that the Trump campaign should take down that ad that includes his comment.
I think it's really unfortunate and really disappointing that they did that. It's so clear that I'm not a political person. And I have never either directly or indirectly endorsed a political candidate. And to take a completely out of context statement and put it in, which is obviously a political campaign ad, I thought was really very disappointing.
When Jake Tapper told Dr. Fauci that the Trump campaign might be creating another ad using Dr. Fauci warned the Trump campaign not to do it and said it could, quote, backfire on them, end quote, if they did use him in another campaign ad. Use of the word backfire indicates Dr. Fauci might be considering something much stronger than a written statement if the Trump campaign does it again. Joining our discussion now, Dr. Ashish Jha, the Dean of the Brown University School of Public Health. And Dr. Jha, before we get into the breaking news about the vaccine tonight, which I would like to discuss, I just want to show this ad put out by Republicans against Trump. This is Olivia Troy, who used to work in the coronavirus task force. And I want to show it before we get into our discussion, Doctor, because I don't want to drag you into the politics of this. Let's take a look at this.
I'm Olivia Troy. I worked on the coronavirus task force from day one, side by side with Dr. Anthony Fauci. I witnessed Donald Trump and senior White House officials routinely sideline and discredit Dr. Fauci, both privately and publicly. And now, the Trump campaign is twisting Dr. Fauci's words in a campaign ad for their own political gain. It's gross and upsetting, and typical of a White House that has no regard for the truth. For Donald Trump, it's always about him. For Dr. Fauci, it's always been about serving the American people. Join me as a Republican and former Trump administration staffer who is voting for Joe Biden.
Dr. Jha, going back to that breaking news announced at the beginning of this segment, Johnson & Johnson suspending vaccine trials. What is your reading of that?
Yeah, so Lawrence, first, thank you for having me on. My reading of that is, this is how clinical trials ought to work, especially for a vaccine. If you see something that seems unusual, you should stop the trial. You should investigate. You should find out, is this a one-off? Is this even related to the vaccine? Or is this a more systemic problem? before you continue the trial. It's just a reminder of the kind of absurdity of some political leaders, specifically the president, asking that a vaccine be ready by the election day. It's just not how it works. We have pauses like this. They're very normal. And in fact, to me, they are reassuring that the process by which we're developing the vaccine is working.
I want to listen to something that the president said tonight in Florida and get your reaction to a COVID patient saying something like this, talking about how that he feels immune. Let's listen to this.
I went through it. Now they say I'm immune. I feel so powerful. I'll walk into that audience. I'll walk in there. I'll kiss everyone in that audience.
I will walk in there and I will kiss everyone in that audience. Doctor, that harkens back to behavior we heard about in the 2016 campaign with Donald Trump. But what do you make of the message that the president is delivering there?
You know, Lawrence, really from day one, the president has underplayed and downplayed this virus. We don't know if he's immune. We don't even know for sure whether he's contagious or not. And the idea that he would joke about a virus that has killed 210,000 Americans and talk about going in and kissing people, I mean, you know, it's not funny. In my mind, it's not in good taste. And most importantly, it sends all the wrong public health messages about how we all need to be behaving as we want to get through this pandemic.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.